All right, with that, I want to turn it over to Simon. Where are you, Simon? There you are. We're going to hear from Simon about why they're involved with Hacking Health, what are some of the themes that we're going to be seeing, and see a pretty cool video at the end of this, right?
Very good. Because we're not MTV, we're the Canadian Centre for Aging and Brain Health. It's a very long name that I think, but what we're about is that we're a solution accelerator, so we have been set up to co-invest in promising solutions and to accelerate the speed with which they are developed and adopted into the healthcare system, especially in the aging and brain health sector. The healthcare sector itself is not known to be particularly innovative. It is particularly cautious and slow-moving for both good and bad reasons. And then the long-term care and aging sector maybe is the healthcare sector of the healthcare sector, so it moves maybe even a little slower. So there's a lot of potential and a lot of people looking to be more innovative and to take advantage of innovative solutions, and we're here to help with that through a number of mechanisms. I'll talk about a couple of them. So one of the primary mechanisms by which we're trying to co-invest and accelerate the adoption of these solutions is through a number of funding programs. And I think there's a lot of people in the room who will find this particularly interesting. So we have funding programs aimed at various communities of innovators. This first one was launched a couple months ago. It's the SPARK program. It's aimed at early stage solutions that stem from the observations, the ideas of point of care workers in the healthcare system themselves. And they can partner with tech folks, with businesses, with designers, but it's supposed to be coming from that point of care perspective. And these programs will all be on repeat. So you've missed the opportunity to apply this time around, but this will go a couple times a year. So please keep your eye out for this opportunity. Right now, launched just recently and still accepting new applications is the I2P2 program, the Industry Innovation Partnership Program. This is also looking to co-invest in projects that are brought by industry partners with new and innovative solutions, and they're looking to trial and generate real scientific evidence as to their effectiveness. And they'll be matched up by us with healthcare service providers, healthcare organizations to try out their application. Two forthcoming programs that don't have cool branding to show you yet will be aimed at research and clinician collaborations, so innovation coming out of the research and the healthcare provider silos breaking down and coming together, and then there will be another program coming after that focused on knowledge mobilization or change management, so spreading the ideas that have proven themselves to be effective. And more programs to come, and as I say, they'll be coming out and they'll be on repeat. So these will be opportunities that I hope people in this room will find their way into at some point. As the presenting sponsor, we had the opportunity to set some of the specifics around the themes for this hackathon. So that was exciting for us because it's a way to harvest and exploit your creativity to drive the focus in the places where we think it needs to be driven. So these were the 4 specific themes in aging, brain health, and wellness that we wanted to focus on. And the video that I'm going to jump to right now, because I think it's sort of like showing you the answers at the back of the book. This is where we're looking to foster innovation and the kind of solutions we're looking to come forth to make the changes in these areas. So avoiding emergency department visits, avoiding and mitigating impacts of falls in seniors, aging at home, so being able to age in place, and with both safer and healthier conditions, and then cognitive fitness, a way to enhance cognitive function, to avoid cognitive decline, and to build capacity for people suffering with dementia. So these are the themes, and I have worked with some clinicians at Baycrest to pick their brains on your behalf to talk a little bit about what each one of these areas and problems mean. What are some of the root causes behind it, and what are some of the solutions they look to. So I'm going to jump to that now, and hopefully it will just work. Thank you very much. Nope. And how do you make it go? Somebody's going to run by the screen.
My name is Faith Malik, and my role at Baycrest is clinical lead for brain health, as well as clinical liaison for our ADNI Center.
So my name is Amy Davignon. I am an advanced practice nurse at Baycrest. I work in the rehab settings.
My name is Curelet-Balan. I am an executive director of residential living and community programs at Baycrest.
Is it recording?
It's recording now.
I don't know.
Don't even
Is
worry.
it light or anything?
It's working.
So people are going to emergency departments when they don't necessarily have a medical emergency in the same sense that we used to, a cut, a broken bone, a heart attack. People are going when they don't have solutions for what they require in their medical care. So people with dementia, they may not be having a heart attack or a stroke, but a caregiver may be at the end of their rope or may not have the solutions that they require in the home to support the individual. And so, without access to the proper resources, they're using our emergency departments. Not necessarily inappropriately, but inappropriately in the traditional sense. So what we want to do is find solutions for those individuals who are aging at home with dementia, or for people who are living in long-term care or other residential settings, and provide other resources so that people don't need to use emergency departments, but instead more expert, specialized resources that will help keep them in their own homes while also providing them with the required treatment and interventions and responses to meet their medical needs. We have a lot of people who do go through emerge, and it then starts a cycle of those individuals being admitted because they can't go home safely. Those individuals then end up in our acute care system where it's not the ideal bed, and that's not the ideal place for them to be living, and so they're looking for an alternative level of care. Our system currently has challenges in terms of capacity of moving people out of acute care into long-term care, in particular for the group of people that are aging with dementia, cognitive challenges, and responsive behaviors. And so for those people, it's difficult to get them back home into the community and to not only connect them to the right resources, which is something that we're moving forward with, but also to work with families who are at the end of their capacity and just want solutions and want to make sure that their loved one is being cared for and that they have the right supports.
I think what we mean by aging in place is to allow people to do it in a dignified, purposeful way. And it means that we have been able to provide people with choice. We have been able to allow people to continue to be a part of their community, be it their families, be it their friends, be it their environments. It also means that we are treating people as human beings who want to be engaged until the very end, who want to be able to make choices for themselves. There are multiple barriers that would keep people in terms of not being able to age in a setting of their choice. And those go to physical barriers and cognitive barriers. It might also be not having the knowledge of the possible resources that are available for them. And it might mean that, perhaps their home is not physically set up to accommodate their needs. It might be that their children have a fear of how their parent might, live on their own, and maybe the children don't know that there are certain things that are absolutely available to assist parents. So, for example, ovens that automatically turn off after a set period of time, or water sensors to prevent floods. So there are environmental setups that can absolutely assist people. So I think lack of knowledge is one. I mean, the other big thing I would say is probably the lack of resources. So, we sometimes think of privilege and what people are able to access. And I think, the ability to afford some of the things that are available is a big thing as well.
So falls prevention is a really important issue now. We have a growing aging population. We have falls as a leading cause of injury and hospitalization in older adults. Falls in the geriatric population can lead to decreased function, worsening mobility, decreased quality of life, fear, chronic pain, delirium, and a need for a higher level of care. First of all, they arise from multiple factors. And some of these include impaired cognition, mobility, gait, issues with balance, possibly a history of falling, and also we as human beings tend to want to do things ourselves and don't really recognize sometimes when we have increasing disability that it could put us at risk. Because falls by nature are multifactorial, they're individualized to each person and could potentially require lots of supervision, which is not always reasonable for the primary caregiver or within our current healthcare resources.
Cognitive health means many different things, and it really depends on where people are. So, for example, cognitive health is particularly important to the aging baby boomers who know that they need to exercise and eat well. So you'll hear things about brain food, you'll hear about people needing to learn new skills to basically maintain their cognitive health. And then there are things and strategies that we use for people who have cognitive health decline and are living with many different forms of dementia, from mild to quite severe. And so what we try to do is then improve on the things that they can and also work with their current environment and their current abilities to make their lives as healthy as possible. If we can combine what keeps people alive with also what is very meaningful for them in terms of living, I think then we've done a great job.
Okay, thanks very much. And we'll be hanging around for the weekend and have mentors to pick their brains further on these problems. So feel free to come visit us over at our booth and talk about anything you're working on. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Simon. That's great. Everybody in the room with an idea has the potential. If you can convince CC Abbey that what you're doing is fantastic, they're going to take you on, right? You're going to bring it back in and try it out. No pressure. But no bias. One of the best teams that I've had the pleasure of working with in Toronto. So it's great that you're here supporting us.